Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's live presentation from MT4Professional. So glad you could join us today. We're going to be talking about trading strategies using the MT4Professional scanner, and we're going to have live training and Q&A as well. So if you have any questions or comments, then over on your Q&A or chat panel on your Zoom control panel, please enter your question or comments there, and I'll be more than glad to get to them as we proceed through our presentation today. I want to make sure everyone knows that we are here for educational purposes only, that MT4Professional and Resilient Traders are not registered trading advisors, so we cannot give you specific trade advice. But what we can do is train and teach you how to use our platform and how to set up a trading plan that is both consistently profitable and successful. Trading with futures, stocks, forex options, cryptocurrencies has a large potential for reward, but it also has a large potential for risk. You need to be aware of the risks involved and be willing to accept them in order to trade or invest in any of these markets. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Please do not trade with money that you cannot afford to lose. Make sure that you get advice from a competent financial advisor before you start trading or investing in any of these markets. And never ever trade in a live account until you have first proven that you can consistently and profitably trade in a simulated account. And only then can you start tackling the mind game, the psychological aspect of trading, which I think is the most difficult part of any trading venture. I am Randy Lindsay, your trade coach and operations director here at MT4Professional. Joining me today is Claudio Cardinale. He's our product development director and technology guru and co-owner with me here in the company. So thank you very much for joining us today. We're going to be talking about trading strategies using the MT4Professional platform. But first, we're going to give a little bit of background about what a market scanner is, what MT4Professional is all about, and I'll give you a live demonstration of the entire platform as it is today. I'll make you a very special offer. Today is a holiday of sorts, but not really. But we're going to give you a special discounted offer anyway. And of course, throughout today's presentation, there'll be live Q&A and training as we progress. Let's get right into it then. When we talk about trading strategies, we're talking about methods or procedures that you follow in order to try to make money in the markets. So a strategy could be, the first one listed there would be like an EMA in price. An EMA is an exponential moving average, and you're looking at the interaction of price with a moving average to determine whether you want to buy or sell, or whether you're saying that the market is bullish or bearish. And so there are different things that you can do from it. So your strategy gives you defined rules on how you can interact with the market. So your strategy might be as simple as, whenever price is greater than the EMA, I want to be a buyer. And whenever price is less than the EMA, I want to be a seller. Or you might need to add a little bit of extra to that and say that, okay, if price is greater than the EMA on my 15-minute chart, then I need to see that the price is greater than the EMA on my 30-minute chart as well. That might give me a little bit firmer or stronger chart. So that's one way to look at it. Or you could even have two EMAs. The point is, you have a set of rules which govern how you trade. And we're going to be looking specifically at the EMA and price today. MACD and signal. MACD is the moving average convergence divergence indicator. And what it is, it looks at how these two oscillators move back and forth with respect to one another. And it measures the divergence or the convergence of the averages and gives you a signal, whether it's bullish or bearish. You can trade off of that, or you can use it also to determine whether you are in a bullish or a bearish state. Simple moving average crossovers are very popular, like a 20 period, a 50 period, 100 period moving averages can determine whether you are either bullish, bearish, or give you buy or sell points in the market as well. And if you combine any or all of these types of strategies together, that also can be a single strategy where you're looking at pure price action, your MACD crossover signals, and even a relative strength to determine whether you are overbought or oversold in the market. And then there's the ever popular alligator strategy, which is looking at longer term setups using 3 different moving averages. So these are just a few of the strategies, and these are a list of some of the more popular ones that I've seen used in the markets today, but you can use any strategy that you want. Our MT4 Professional Scanner can scan in real time any and all of these strategies and alert you when the conditions are met. But let's not get off the track. Today, we're going to be talking about these strategies. So here I'm going to ask you, what type of scanner configuration most interests you? Are you interested in less risk of missing trades, less time wasted searching trade setups? Are you looking for a better chance to find high probability trades, or if you just don't even know what you're looking for? Claudio is going to launch that poll for us here in just a second. I think that oh, there it is. Well, that's not the one I had, but that works. Are you currently using MT4 Professional? There could be some people in our class who are here for training who have already gone through the presentation. So if you are, then let us know. Otherwise, if you haven't had a chance to try it, or you want to know more, or you don't even know if you need it or not, let me know. That'll help me to present my information to you. All right. So about half the class are already users, so thank you for being here. The other half is not sure if you even need it or not. So we'll go over that and hopefully answer most of your questions. Please ask me questions as we're going through. If I don't explain things, that way we can make sure that we get all of your needs met. Are there any more polls, Claudio? If not, I'll just get on with the presentation. Do you have the one about the market scanner benefit? There it is. All right, how can the market scanner best benefit you? Less time wasted searching for trade setups, less risk in missing trades because it finds them for you, a better chance of finding a high probability trade because it's looking for based upon your rules, or maybe you just don't even know. So I like the time aspect personally, but there is no wrong answer on that. It's the idea about a polls to find out what it is that you're interested in. And don't be shy. Always ask questions along the way. Yeah, if people don't know, less time, a better chance of finding them. Okay, that's perfectly fine. So let's go ahead and move on then. So what is a market scanner then? What is MT4 Professional? So if you look at all the symbols and all the time frames that you have available for you on the MT4 platform, there are 50 Forex pairs, 20 CFDs, 9 different time frames. That's more than 630 combinations that you have to check for manually if you're going to go through and try to find a trade or a trade setup based upon your rules. So do you really think that you're able to do this manually? You can probably do it for a handful or a basketful, maybe 6 at the most, where you actually have them up on your charts and you're looking at them. But how often do you think that you're actually missing opportunities? Because whenever the CAD yen or the pound euro is trading, the pound dollar, the euro dollar, okay, you've got a bunch of setups, but there might be something else in the background that might be trading off, like the Aussie yen might be really trending and you don't even know it if you don't have it up on your chart. So trading with different instruments, if you want to be profitable in today's market is important. And so if you trade uncorrelated instruments, it's a great way to remove uncertainty and to diversify your portfolio. But if you only have a limited amount, that really limits your performance. So a perfect solution to this problem is a market scanner. A market scanner is an automatic tool that should allow you to scan the entire market at a glance for any symbol or time frame with your own custom rules based on any standard or custom indicators that you have. So it's like a signal provider, but it's a tool allowing you to analyze all your strategies using any indicator at your disposal. Here's an example on the right where I have a list of symbols that I'm interested in. It could be any symbol. And then I have a spreadsheet layout where I can see for various time frames, and for each symbol, I have either a bullish or bearish indication, or I have a signal that tells me to buy or to sell. And so what we're looking at in this setup is that for every cell that's there, I want the color of that cell to be green if there is a bullish cross of two moving averages. So this is looking at the cross of two simple moving averages, a 15 period and a 30 period moving average. If the 15 period crosses over the 30, that's a bullish cross. If the 15 crosses under, that's a bearish cross. So if the bullish cross is green and the bearish cross is red, then this should give me a very good indication of either being bullish, bearish, or whether I want to be long or short in any of these markets. So at a glance, I can very quickly scan through and look at every single one of these symbols across multiple time frames and very quickly tell the ones that are lined up for a bullish setup or the ones that are lined up for a bearish setup. So it's very easy to see. That's what you want to be able to get from a scanner. It does all of that work for you, so all you have to do is the analysis. So Market Scanner does, like I said, all the work for you, so you can focus on things like managing your trade or getting your mindset where it belongs. Once set up, the Market Scanner will search for conditions that meet your rules following your strategy. And then you should be alerted when the conditions are met for a favorable trade or an exit. Here's another list of symbols over here on the right, different types of symbols. You can see different CFDs, futures, Bitcoin, Forex, just whatever you're interested in. And I added an additional time frame as well. And what we're looking at is EMA and price in this example. So the cell colors then now will be showing whenever price action crosses over an exponential moving average by closing greater than, then I want the cell to be green if it's bullish or red if it's bearish. So the idea here is to find that the dollar Canadian is very strong and bullish, while the S&P 500, NASDAQ, the Dow are all, well, this is the Russell actually, are all bearish. There are some transition ones where you can see the euro and the pound are in a 5-minute transition, but you can see from a longer term bullish state that the bullishness is starting to return in the 1 minute. So you would be expecting to see the 5-minute go to a green bullish state as well, which would be a trigger signal to get back into a long trade. That would be a continuation setup. So that's the idea behind it. You want something that you can very easily determine whether you want to get in the market or not, or to stay there. Now you saw I had different time frames. So what is it about multiple time frames that piques your interest? So did you know that if you trade using multiple time frames, that you have a higher probability of a profitable trade? And it's due to correlation. It's just one of the advantages of using multiple time frame technical analysis. If you look at the chart over on the right, you can see 3 different time frames that I have listed here. Notice that the 4-hour chart has a much longer term time frame of trend. And if you look at the shorter time frames, that within that same period of trend, the shorter time frames are much choppier. They change trend and correct during those periods. While it's still trading in the same overall direction, the corrections are much more frequent and it becomes noisier, much harder to trade. So if you're trading a 15 or hourly chart along with a 4-hour chart, and you're only taking trades in the direction of the longer term trend, you have a higher probability of having a successful trade. You're also going to have lower risk because you're trading in the direction of the longer term trend. So if you're only taking longs when the 4-hour is trending long, or if you're only going to take shorts when the 4-hour is trending short, then you're going to have a less risk, higher probability trade. So that's a tool. If a scanner could actually do this type of analysis for you, that would be an extremely valuable tool as well. So an example that I have showing you is where we're looking at symbols. We're looking at 4 different time frames and whether we are bullish or bearish. And the example we're looking for is a MACD crossover where you can see a bullish cross. You're looking for price action to be greater than the 15-period exponential moving average. Here, I'm also looking to see if relative strength is bullish, which means that the previous relative strength is greater than the current relative strength. So that's a bullish trend. So in this particular setup, I can see that right here where the blue cross is on my screen, I have a bullish setup where I have a close above, a signal long, and a relative strength bullishness. On my second time frame, I have a bullish cross and I have strong relative strength. And on my third time frame, I have a strong relative strength crossing out of an oversold condition. So these are the 3 criteria that I need to see met to get me into a trade. So once you can see that the crosshair is showing me the exact same time that that occurs. So this tells me an entry at this point would have yielded in a over 100 pip trade on this Euro US dollar setup. That's the idea behind the trade. And so this should let me know when and where the trade setup is good. So by taking trades in harmony with the longer time frame trend, I get a lower risk opportunity with higher probability trade. It's a powerful combination for any trader because it shows the importance of using multiple time frames in your trading, especially if you have a scanner doing the work for you. So a scanner using multiple time frame analysis coupled with your own indicators is an extremely valuable tool, and it is there for the picking. So the problem that we ran into when we went out looking for scanners in these markets as professional traders, we didn't find any. We couldn't find any on the MT4 or MT5 platform that met our criteria. They were either too complex to configure, which meant you had to have a programming degree in order to set it up and use it. They were unstable, or maybe even a single tool that was not well integrated with the entire system, or it was incompatible with a lot of the indicators that were available. There were a lot of other issues, but the solution we came up with was to develop our own. And that's how MT4Professional came around. We developed it for our own daily trading, but now that we've made it available to others, it's the #1 market scanner on both MT4 and MT5. It is a tool that allows you to instantly scan the entire market for setups that match your own unique criteria and rules. And when you find a good setup, it enables you to enables you to have technical analysis using multiple time frames, which really is not easy to do on MT4 and MT5. And I'll show you that here in a minute as we get into the live demonstration portion of our demonstration today. So are there any questions so far? Did I cover everything in sufficient detail for you to have your questions answered? And then as we go into today's demonstration, we'll do that. All right. So let's look right at the setup. This is a regular MT4. I want to show you a couple of things before we get into MT4 Professional. There are a lot of features that really add to and make the platform a lot easier to use. Right now, you can see I'm in standard MT4 mode. I'm not using MT4 Professional. And I wanted to show you that there's no way for me to actually look at multiple time frames without clicking on the middle mouse and getting a crosshair, determining the overall time frame that I'm in right here, say 10 o'clock on the day 10/31. And then if I roll over to this chart on a 30-minute, then if I find that same time right there, then I can see that that's the same location that I saw from this point. And then on my hourly chart, you can see the same thing right there. So prior to that, this is the break bar that I was interested in trying to get into a short position on these marks. So looking at those setups, it's not real easy to physically go through. You have to look at each chart individually. Secondly, if I need to change the symbol on any of these charts, I have to go over here and physically drag and drop the symbol onto each and every chart. And in that way, I change the symbols. And if I don't do that for all of them, then I can't do it. Also, if I increase the size of my window, if I go into full screen mode, look at all the real estate that's wasted that doesn't automatically get claimed for me. I have to physically redraw each one of my windows to fill in that space. And if I don't do it proportionally, then none of these are going to be the same size. Now I can use my window to tile these vertically, and that helps for windows that are all the same size. But when I go back into the smaller mode, notice that it clips all of these windows. And I have to go back in and do that again. All right. And if my windows are not all the same size, then when you go to tile them, you're going to lose the size of your window. And it's just a kind of a pain. So I'm going to go over and launch MT4 Professional now. MT4 Professional launches up and shows you a configuration setup with a blank screen. What this does, it allows you to set up the configuration that you're interested in coming in and using. I want to look at the EMA and price first, so I'll go ahead and click that one and hit the load button, and it'll load on for me the setup and configuration. Notice that I have 3 different chart settings, and also note that each one of the windows have fully filled up all of the space on my screen. I have a crosshair that shows me an alignment between all 3 of my time frames, so I have complete confidence that multiple time frame analysis can be done very quickly and easily, not only for time, but for price as well. If I were to minimize my screen, notice that all of the windows redraw. And if I were to go back into a full screen mode, then you can see that automatically does that. Also, if I click on any symbol on my list one time, it automatically changes the symbol in all of the charts so that I can have free use of my hands and my time as well. So it's nice to be able to do that. So I have a one-click integration of all of my symbols and all of my charts. This is a EMA and price configuration. So I have all of the look and feel of the platform already pre-configured. So if I were to go in under select configuration, this was set up under the EMA and price. If I click the edit button, then this shows me that I have access to set up my chart layout or my scanner. So if I look at the chart layout, then you can see I have the ability to set the time frame and the template for each one of the charts that I have laid out. Now I'm using the same template for all 3 of my charts, but if I wanted to, I could change the template for any one of these. And this is using a EMA template, but if I wanted to pull up a separate one, say this one, then you can see, oops, sorry, clicked the wrong one. This one is using then now an EMA, while the other ones are using EMA price. So if I click OK, save that, and then reload it. notice the difference in the charts that are laid out. This one right here is currently using the EMA template, while these two are using the EMA price. Notice these have the second moving average on them, while this one does not. Okay, so the idea behind this is you can use any setup, you can use any template that you have access to make it look just exactly the way that you want it to. I'm gonna go back in and put it back the way I had it. And then from here, I'm gonna go back into the scanner. From here, you have access to any symbol. So you can look at any of the symbols that you have access to on your MT4 or MT5 platform. You can select any one of these, add it to your list. If you don't want it, you can remove it. You can clear everything off of your list, and you can start over again by picking any of the symbols that begin with euro. So I can pick any of my euro symbols now. Load those. If I don't like any of those, if there's one I got up there that I didn't need, like this one, then I can remove that and then add any of the other ones that I want. I'm gonna go ahead and cancel, and just so that it maintains the current list that I do have. And then I'm going to go in and show you the scanner configuration. Now, the scanner configuration is a tool that allows you to set the scanner up. Now, the scanner is this display that you see right over here. And the scanner goes through and uses rules to determine what color or what the output into any of these cells should be. So we call them color rules. So within the scanner configurator, you can turn on notifications, you can adjust the size, you can start from other configurations that have already been done, or you can set them up manually yourself. You can define the time frame that you want to look for. You define the rule that you're going to use in order to set the state, whether it's bullish, bearish, or neutral. In this case, I've called it the main color rule. So let's go in and click the edit button to see what that main color rule consists of. The main color rule is looking at current price to see if it's greater than or equal to a 15-period exponential moving average. If this is true, and if that current 15-period exponential moving average is also greater than a 50-period simple moving average, then I want that cell to be colored green. That's exactly what this is telling you. This is condition set 1. If condition set 1 is true, the cell will be green. If condition set 1 is false, this will be discarded and it will go to the OR state, or this. This was condition set 2. It will now evaluate this setup. It will look at price to see if it's less than the 15-period moving average. And if the 15 is also less than the 50, then this would be true and the cell would be colored red. If neither of these are true, then the default color yellow will be used. And of course, you can choose any color that you like as your default color, and you can choose any color that you like for a bullish or bearish setup. I just happen to choose a green color because this is a bullish setup. Whenever price is greater than the 15, and if the 15 is greater than the 50, I know I'm in a bullish state and I want to be green or long. I want to be notified of that bullish state. And likewise for the bearish state. So these are the two conditions. Now I have this main color rule applied to my 5-minute, my 15-minute. I also have a 30-minute here that I'm applying that to. If I wanted to add an additional chart, then all I have to do is just click the plus here. It's very simple. Define the time frame, assign a color rule, just simply by turning it on, and there, I'm done. I have assigned a color rule to my hourly chart now. And if I don't want that hourly chart, I can just get rid of it just like that. Once I'm done with my setups, then I click the OK button, save it, close my window, and anytime you make any changes to any of the configurations, make sure that you reload it so that it can be saved to the cloud. Once you click the reload button, then it updates the symbol and the list and the configuration for the charts to the cloud, and everything is good and reloads it to your screen. Now, I keep mentioning the cloud, but what that means is that MT4Professional is fully cloud-based. That means that all of your configurations and setups are all backed up and saved in the cloud. So you don't have to worry about losing any data or about missing any of your setups. Everything is run from the cloud. And because it's cloud-based, you can also share your setups and configurations with other traders who are using the MT4Professional system. All you have to do is select the configuration that you want to share, click the edit button, and the share icon shows up in the bottom right-hand corner. Just simply click on that, find the user that you're interested in sharing with, and then share it with that individual by clicking the share button. Okay. It's that simple. So you see I have 3 different time frames set up here on this example. I'm looking for a bullish setup here. So you can see that the EMA has crossed over the 20. And you can see price is greater than the EMA. So that shows me a bullish setup. The second time frame is neutral because the price has crossed over the EMA, but the EMA is not over the SMA. So that gives me a neutral. It's not quite ready. And the third time frame is red, which says the price is not over my 15 period. My 15 period is not over my 30. So it is definitely bearish. So I'm looking for a transition trade right here. This is starting to transition into a potentially long setup, but I need to wait for a little while for the transition to occur. It's still too bearish at this moment. If this turns back around and goes back into a red state, then that's a higher probability for a downward move than for an upward. This would be a return to the longer term trend, which is what we see in the pound. So that's the idea behind the setup. Now that's the EMA in price. Questions so far? Those of you who are already using the platform, please ask your questions as well, and I'll be more than glad to show you or set up any of those examples as well. I've got one that's a little bit more complex. It's called MyMACD. I'll load that one up. This one is looking at 3 different time frames, but these are long time frames instead of short time frames. And we're also looking at multiple indicators aligning. So I'm looking for price crossing over an exponential moving average. I'm looking for a MACD cross. You can see the red line over the histogram is the signal line, and the histogram is the regular MACD signal. So whenever you see the histogram cross below the red signal line, that becomes a bearish setup. And anytime you see the histogram cross greater than the red signal line, that's a bullish setup. Okay. So those are the signals that you're looking for, the crossing. So bullish setup, bearish setup. Okay. That's the idea behind that. So bullish setup would be in this area. A bearish setup would be back up in this area. So the idea behind the trade would be to look for those types of alignments and validate that with your other signals, whether you have an extremely oversold condition that's coming out with strength or an overbought condition that's coming back down with weakness. That's the idea behind these setups. So let's look at our configuration and find out how we set that up and what it is that we look for. So if you edit the overall chart setup, then I have the color rule defined, which I call it a strong signal. I have two different color rules set up here, but I only have one of them applied to my 4-hour. So let's go ahead and edit that one and show you what I'm looking at. So all three of these conditions have to be met in order for me to get a bearish or a red sell change. MACD, in this case, it is a MACD base indicator, has to be less than the MACD signal line. That's the first condition. The second condition, as to the price, has to be less than the 15-period exponential moving average. So this cross right here, right there it is. This histogram has to be less than this red line, and this price has to be below this moving average. And I need to see the relative strength 2 bars back greater than the current relative strength. So if I'm looking at the relative strength, then I need to see at that same point, is the relative strength here, which is 2 bars back from the current relative strength, 1, 2, if that is greater than this. If it is, if that's greater than that, then I know the slope is going down. That's weakness, and I want to see that. That's what I want to see. That's a slope, a negative slope on this relative strength. Positive slope would mean it's going up, and a negative slope, it's going down. So by comparing historical values, I can determine that very quickly, the direction. So if all three of these are good, then I'm definitely going to see a bearish setup. And I call that a strong bearish signal. And vice versa, if any one of these are not true, that will not be satisfied, and it'll go and start looking at this condition. We're looking for a bullish setup, a MACD over a signal line, close of price over the 15 period, and a previous relative strength less than a current relative strength. So you're looking for previous less than the current greater than. So that's the slope that we want to see on that. Now, how do I get these indicators in? Notice I have, in this particular case, I have the same indicator loaded twice, 2 instances of the same indicator. But on this one, I selected the base indicator, and on this one, I selected the signal line. So if I were to pull that up and look at it, then you can see that I have the ability to modify or set up the mode of the indicator to look at which line or which output that I want to use, because the MACD has 2 different outputs available. And so I can use either one of these. And so I load the first one with the base indicator, and I load the second one with the signal line. So that way I can use them as variables for my comparison. Very, very simple, straightforward, and easy to use. I can set any of these up. If I even have a new one that I wanted to add, then I click the plus sign. I can choose any indicator that I have access to. Now, these are all of the indicators that are standard on either MT4 or MT5. So you can see any of these specific indicators that you have access to. Okay. Or if you have an indicator that you've purchased or that you bought from a third-party vendor, you can pick that from your computer, because you don't have to use any of the standard ones. You can pick any of your own, even if you programmed it yourself. You can select that indicator from your computer just by identifying it, selecting it, and using that indicator value there. Okay, so you just pick it from that point. And if you want to use a constant, so say that you're looking to see if relative strength is greater than 30. Well, let's just go ahead and just set that up real quick just to see it. So let's look at the relative strength, and let's just see if that relative strength is greater than a constant value. So here I can input a constant value 30. So that way I can see if my relative strength is greater than 30. So MACD, price action relative to an exponential average, relative strength rising or falling, and is it coming out of an oversold condition? That's a great setup to make sure that you're in a bullish state and potentially long setup. All right. And so if I did that, then over here, then I'd probably want to do the relative strength less than 70 to make sure that I'm out of an overbought condition. So see that it works on both ways. So you're not limited to any indicator. You're not limited to any thing that you've previously purchased, or you're not limited by any setups, because you can use any templates, any profiles. You can use any indicator in the system to do these setups. Once you have it configured, notice that I had two separate color rules. I'm using the strong signal on my first two timeframes, but I'm using the weekly trend strategy on my longer time frame. So let's look to see what that one does. That one is just simply looking at price relative to the 15-period exponential moving average. So it's just basically looking to see, like this weekly, if price is below, it's bearish. If price is above, it's bullish. So this gives you a really good indication of longer term trend. All right, you're going to be trading in those. So you're going to do much better if you're taking trades in that overall direction, if you're trading along with that. That's the idea behind that. Are there other questions? Very quiet audience today. I think I'm either doing a great job answering all your questions and laying everything out, or you just don't know what to ask. But a scanner should be able to do that. It should show you that there's a transition in place, that you're looking for a potential setup. Like on the Euro CAD, you have a bearish in line with two longer term bullish. So this is either a potential reversal or a correction that's going to return in line with the longer term trend. So by clicking on that, you can see this is a long-term bull state for the 4-hour, but you can see that the daily is also a long-term, but it's shorter term, and it is definitely a longer term weekly initiated. So this shorter term bearishness looks like it can easily return back to a longer term bullish state and resume its longer term trend. So as soon as that goes green, you would want to be alerted to that fact and ready to take that trade whenever it begins. So that's the idea behind these types of setups. You want to see that occur, and you want to know not only when it occurs, but you're ready to go for that. The other nice thing about the system is that if you step away from your platform and you go to lunch, you don't have to worry about missing any signals or trades, because MT4Professional goes with you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up my browser, and you can see that I have MT4Professional's website set up on my Chrome browser. Now, this is an example of, say, on my tablet or on my laptop or even on my cell phone. I can pull the website up on any of my mobile devices. If I log into the MT4Professional members area by signing in, then it takes me to our launch page, our landing page here. From here, of course, it's going to help you get loaded and started with MT4. It's our onboarding process, and we help you every step of the way by giving you links to download the software and to get it all installed, to get access to help anywhere that you might need it. But what I'm directing you to right now is the real-time scanner. So if you were to click on the real-time scanner link in the members area, then it'll go to a selection box that enables you to pick the live demo that, the live account that you have running on your MT4 platform. As you can see, I was able to pull up the current configuration, the MyMacD configuration that's running on my computer. But here I am on my mobile device looking at the live scanner currently updating. So this is a live setup, and every time I see an update on this page, you'll see an update change on this chart. Also, I can interact with this just as if I were in my office as well. So if I wanted to go and look at the pound dollar, notice it's on the Euro CAD right now. I'm going to click the pound dollar on my mobile device, and notice that it automatically switched over to the pound dollar on my computer. took a picture of it, and then sent it to me on my mobile device. So now I can look to see that is a potential trade setup. You can see bearishness is coming back in line with the longer term trend. I'm looking for the shorter term daily now to start rolling back over. Then I will indeed be in a short trade setup. So that's the idea behind that. I won't miss any trades by being out, being at lunch, because I can take MT4Professional with me. If I do see some trade setup that hits right then, all I need to do is on my mobile device, pull up my broker, initiate the trade, and then I'm all set. But the hard work has already been done for me while I was away from my desk. Any of these snapshots or any other snapshot that you take with the snapshot button on the platform are all categorized and can be kept tagged and set up either to be private or public to your audience. You can share them with links that we make available to you. If you make them public, then you can take that link, that share link, and share it to any of the social media platforms that you participate in, or any of the Skype or other social platforms that you use. And you can tag these and make them available or to find them at any point. And so you can organize them any way that you like. You can organize any of your accounts or your licenses. You can even participate in our referral program to get referral bonuses if you send someone our way and they become members of the community. So we even pay you to do that. If you need any help with the system, then go into your settings here. The documentation can be found there. You can email us on the link here. And if you need to update any of your account settings, your credit card or anything like that, you can do all that. Even cancel your subscription. All can be done from your settings panel right there. And did I also mention that this is all backed up in the cloud? So you can take this with you anywhere. You don't even have to take your computer with you. Take your, if your computer crashes and it goes down, or if you travel and go over to your friend's house or to your brother's house, then ask your brother to use your computer, use his computer, download MT4Professional onto his computer and launch it. All of your configurations, since they're backed up in the cloud, will automatically come up just the way you left it at the office. So you can get it launched and running anywhere that you are. So it goes with you. It's totally mobile and you don't lose anything. All right, I'm gonna go back to my presentation now then, if there aren't any questions. And I'm gonna make you a very special offer. MT4Professional is a tool that gives you a full featured access to all of the tools I've shown you today, plus many more for both MT4 and MT5. With your subscription, you get access to our Skype community. You get unlimited configurations of storage, unlimited emails and push notifications, and up to 100 SMS messages per month on your mobile phone. You get all 14 of our pre-configured presets, which are the strategies that I've shown you, already set up and configured for your use. All of this is valued as you see there, but for a limited time, we make that available to you at $194 per month. But you're not going to pay $194 per month, because for our specials, we like to discount that. And in this case, we knocked that down by 50%. But because today is a special day, we wanted to knock that down by another 20%. So you got not only the 50% reduction, but you get 20% off of that to give you a $77 per month special. If you use the code Halloween22, all caps, the number 22, then you can get access to that. The link is mt4professional.com/trial. It'll come up with a $97 price, which is the normal 50% off. But if you enter the code Halloween22, then you will get that further reduced to $77 per month. Now, this isn't a 30-day off coupon. This is a life of the subscription coupon, which means that once you start the subscription, it will not change for the life of that subscription until you cancel it. As usual, you'll get a 14-day free trial to try the software out to see if you like it, to kick the tires per se, and to use it. And you can even make a lot of money during that period of time just to see how well the system works. But you get 14 full days to try it risk-free without a single penny being charged to your credit card. But after the 14th day is finished, then you will be charged these $77 until you cancel. If you cancel anytime during the 14-day trial, not a penny is going to be charged, and you still have full access to the full 14 days, whether you cancel or not. And if you have any questions during the trial period or up until that point, you can always contact us at support@MT4Professional.com if you have questions, or if you'd like to set up a time to get together with me or someone other of our technical staff for support and help. So I'm gonna go back to the platform now and leave the link available there for you. So make sure that you use the code Halloween22 and the link MT4Professional.com/trial to get your 14-day trial started and to lock in the 20% off of our already 50% discounted price. Now, is there any setup that I showed today that you have a question about, or is there any other setup that you have that you would like for me to go into detail about? Or for those of you who are already part of the system, is there something that you've run into that you need a little bit more explanation or clarity on in the setup or use of the platform? I'll be more than glad to go over those. We still have over 8 minutes left in today's presentation, so be glad to do that. I don't see hardly any questions coming at all. This here is an example using a third-party software. This is a Hawkeye software setup purchased from Hawkeye. We do have an affiliate arrangement with them. So if you're interested in this software as well, then you can contact us and we'll be more than glad to help you get started on this. We do have a very special offer with them to get started, to get their software started for $97 one-time fee to get their first software package, and then you can upgrade at a 20% discount from there going forward. But let us know at support@MT4Professional.com if you're interested, and we'll be glad to do that. But what this does is it looks at trend, heat map, and volume. And then it looks at multiple time frames to determine whether there are an alignment. So you can see where these trends occur and when you want to be able to participate in those trends. And so the scanner goes through and looks to see if any of those are in alignment. Now notice that these are all out of alignment. So there's no trade setups there. And I don't see many are. The pound Canadian looks to be the only one that's in a fully red state. And you can see that it is in a very strong bearish trend. So that's the idea behind this, is you want to be able to capture and see when it initially goes into that setup. So when that occurs, then you can see that at this point, you have a full strong signal to get in. And at that point, you can see that there's about 20 pips of profit already locked in on this secondary trade. But notice that that is only a secondary trade entry, because the initial trade came on the longer time. When the longer time set up, the shorter time had already locked in. So the overall trade already had well over 120 pips of potential profit if you were looking at setting that up and trading it. So the system would already be set up to show you that alignment and configuration using the scanner and the setup. So here the dollar Canadian is almost transitioned back over into a full setup mode because it had already gone into a trend here. The only thing we're waiting on is the transition back from the longer time frame heat map. Okay. That's the idea behind that. Well, this is a 5, but it's looking at a 30. So that's the 5, 15, 30. This is a 30-minute. It should be a 15-minute. So that needs to be changed. There it is. There, it looks much better. Yeah, so that would have already been a sell signal already. Right there would have been an entry point. All right. Well, since there aren't any other questions, I could just be free-forming it, but I'll go ahead and close the class about 3 minutes early today. So thank you very much for your time and attention. I appreciate it. If you do have any questions on how to get your own copy of MT4 Professional for your use, then just let us know. support@mt4professional.com. Click the link mt4professional.com/trial and use the code Halloween22 to lock in your 20% off our already discounted 50% off code. And I look forward to speaking with you in our Skype chat room. So thank you very much for joining us today. Take care, and I'll see you on the flip side. Bye for now.